Hi kindergarten! Welcome back to Miss Hirsch's Kinder Corner. We're going to learn about some animals today and where they live. So, first of all, in your printed package, you probably got these two papers. In fact, I know you did. Okay? And if you didn't get a printed package, these are in Google Classroom. So, this activity is called Where Do They Live? These are the animals. You're going to have to cut them out, okay? And if cutting them out exactly, so you're going up and down the legs, if that's too hard, don't try to cut them out that way. You can cut around your animals like you're making a circle, okay? Let's take a look quickly so we make sure we know what the animals are. This is Mr. Penguin, right? Does anyone know what this is? It's a camel. This is an animal that we see here in Canada. This is a deer. We also see these guys. This is a squirrel. This looks like a bear, and it is a bear, but it's a specific kind of bear. This is a polar bear, okay? This is a lizard. This is a whale, and this is a seahorse, okay? So after the video is done, you're going to cut the animals out first. That takes you a little bit of time. We're going to put those animals in their habitats. A habitat is a place where an animal lives. So on this paper, there are 4 habitats. We have lots of forests around our city. We have forests in the river valley, and if you leave our city and you head to the mountains, you'll find lots of forests there too. So that's what this one is, forest. This is a habitat that we don't have around us anywhere. It is very, very hot. In fact, it's so hot that there's really no plants and no trees and no grass. Cacti will grow in this habitat, and there's lots of sand, okay? This is called a desert. Did you guess that? This looks like it could be a lake, but it says sea or ocean. The ocean is the biggest body of water. It's bigger than a lake, bigger than a pond, bigger than a river, okay? We have a river in our city. We have ponds in our city. We have lakes outside of our city. But to get to the ocean, we have to drive through Alberta and then through BC, and that's the closest we can get to an ocean, the Pacific Ocean. But really, Canada has oceans around lots of it. We just have to drive really far to get to them. This is called the polar region, okay? The polar region is the very most northern part of our Earth or the very most southern part of our Earth. So at the very top and at the very bottom of the planet. It is almost all ice, and most of the year it stays frozen, especially right at the poles. So those are the 4 types of habitats that we're going to see if we can put animals into. So I'm going to bring the whiteboard up so you can see it. Okay, I have a blue paper here. I'm hoping that will help you see this a bit better. And I'm going to bring the board right up to you. Okay, let's get you all close together here. There we go. Okay, you can see the first thing I did already. I wrote my name on the top. So you can write your name on the top too. There's no line here, but that's okay. All right, we're going to put 2 animals into each of these habitats. And there's one animal that could go in a couple places. So when we get to that animal, we will decide what to do. Here's my first guy. Can you see him? He is a camel. Camels live where it's very hot, okay? They have something special in their back. So this part here, this bump, is actually full of water. That's why they can live where it's really hot, because their body keeps its own water in it. That's pretty crazy, hey? Do you know where they live? Did you figure it out from my clues? Camels come from the desert. We don't have any camels in our country. Not in the wild, anyway. This little guy is called a seahorse. And it tells you in his name where he lives. He kind of looks like a horse, but he is an ocean animal. He lives in the sea. Here we've got a lizard. There are lots of types of lizards, but most of the time you won't find a lizard in a place that's cold. And sometimes you'll find a lizard in a forest, but there's something that all places have in common where you will find a lizard. Every place that you go where lizards live are going to be warm places. Okay, so this guy can actually kind of live in either place as well here. But this is not the right kind of forest for a lizard. Lizards live more in tropical forests and in very hot places. So if we had a rainforest in this picture, we could put him down there, but we don't. So we're going to put him in the other place where lizards live, in a desert. Sometimes lizards like sandy, hot places too. Let's see what else we've got here. Aha! One of our Canadian animals, a deer. Can you guys tell me where deer live? They're from our neighborhood. You might even see them in the city every once in a while. They are forest animals. They eat the plants that are in the forest. We have another Canadian animal. This little guy makes himself loud and clear when you walk past him when he's hanging out in our trees, right? Have you ever heard the squirrels yell at each other or yell at you? They like to steal snacks. If you leave snacks on the ground, they'll steal nuts. Squirrels live in where? Forests. They need those trees, right? That's where they live. Sometimes you'll see them in your backyard too, but they're always in a tree. Okay, here is that bear that we saw. So remember I called him a polar bear? And there's a word in his name that will give us a hint, right? Polar bear. So he's not a grizzly, he's not a black bear. This is a bear that lives where it's very, very cold. Polar bears live in the north part of the earth, okay? So they live north of Canada. There are some that live at the top of our country, but for the most part, they're so far away from us, we would probably never see them unless we go very, very, very far north. These guys are from the north part of the earth. Here's Mr. Whale. I think you can tell me right away where he lives. He is not a land animal. Whoops, he ran away. He needs to live with the seahorse in the ocean. And here's the one that I wanted to talk about. It's our penguin. Now, we all know penguins are sea animals, right? They can swim. They swim way better than they fly. Penguins are not good flyers. But penguins also kind of live in a couple different places. So we could actually almost put the penguin in 3 different spots on this graph, because some penguins live in hot places. Okay, there are penguins that live in beaches in southern Africa, I think. I hope my facts are right. There's of course penguins that live in the ocean. That's where they all live. And there's also some penguins that live in the polar region of the world. So penguins don't live in the North Pole though. That's where these guys live, right? In the north side of the earth. Penguins live in the South Pole. So a penguin and a polar bear would never actually meet each other because they live on opposite ends of our earth. So that's why I'm going to put them together, because this is kind of an interesting little story. Lots of movies have penguins and polar bears together, but they would never ever meet each other in nature. So boys and girls, just for this paper, we're going to put our penguin in the polar region because one of these pictures is from the north and one of them is from the south. And that's what we want to remember, is that there's different areas in the world where different animals live. Okay? And that is our lesson on our habitat. We'll see you guys next time.